Hi, everybody. My name is Dale Parker. I'm here with CROPA Media, and we welcome you back to the Bank on Your Success program. Miss Lydia Fileye is here with Truist Bank, and she's going to tell us all about budgeting and saving strategies.
So we're going to talk about the three main budgeting strategies. We're going to talk a little bit about how to figure out which one is the best for you. We're going to explore those a little bit, and then we're going to talk about how to save, how you can save, how a little bit goes a long way. And we'll talk a little bit about interest. And then, we'll talk about going back to a little bit about goals. We talked about SMART goals. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk about a few different savings vehicles.
Get ready to learn and to be able to take these strategies and implement them in your own financial life.
All right, well, first, let me ask you a question. When you hear the word budget, what comes to mind? What do you think about when you hear the word budget?
Strict.
That's a very real answer. Most people think that. Most people think that living and with a budget means that it's limiting, or it sounds too boring, or it sounds like I can't have fun and I work hard for my money. But really, budgeting is a pathway to live your best financial life. Really, when you have a budget, and you heard it here first, budgeting is telling your money where to go, so it doesn't tell you where you can't go.
That's a way to think about it, because like you're saying, budgeting is telling your money where to go. So you know what you're doing. You have a plan. There's a strategy to this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then you're going to be limited in a lot of ways, because you can't see out in the future at all about your financial situation.
Exactly. So when you have a budget, not only do you learn to manage today, but it helps you to be prepared for the future. You can be in control. Budgeting helps you to be in control. I don't know if you've ever had those moments, Dale, if you looked at your balance, between paydays and been like, what in the world? Where did it all go?
Right, exactly. That happens a lot, especially with cash. So
Oh yeah. It's no longer easy come, easy go. It's hard to come, but easy go.
right.
It goes awful
Right.
fast. So let's talk about the three main budgeting strategies that we have. So there are, as I mentioned, three. So depending on where you are in your financial journey, you would choose whichever one works with where you are right now. So the first one is you budget to control your spending. That's one strategy. And we'll get into breaking all these down in just a moment. The second strategy is you budget to manage your debt. Okay, so we have controlling our spending, we have managing debt, and then our third strategy is we budget to save for the future. Okay, so those are the three main strategies for budgeting. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one, controlling your spending. All right. So controlling your spending. So control, right? Janet Jackson, control. This is what we're doing with our money. And you being in control gives you really the power to tell your money where to go. And it eliminates the surprise of when you look at your balance and it's like, oh, it eliminates the where did it go? You know where it went. It eliminates how you just impulse. It eliminates the impulse buying. It eliminates well, I got it, so let me just go spend it, or this one right here. This reason for spending is not a reason to spend, but I hear it a lot. We only live once. But if you only live once and you spend it all today, how are you going to live tomorrow? Think about that. So when we're talking about controlling our spending, we really want to make a budget that's real and reasonable, right? And cutting costs is usually the easiest way to increase your disposable income. If you remember, we talked a couple of weeks about disposable, which I hate, but with disposable income, which is the money you have left over from everything you have coming in and everything you have going out. Your income minus your expenses equals your disposable income, which is not disposable. That's just the term we use. We're not throwing any money away. We use it every dime. We are assigning every dime, okay? So we want to make sure that we are increasing what we have left over. And usually cutting costs is the way to do that. Now you have to know what you're working with. You have to know where it's going. You have to sit. Now this one you got to sit down with. All budgets you got to sit down with. But this one you really are going to have to go back into your transaction history, and you're really going to have to categorize where you're spending. So say in a day's time, first thing in the morning, okay, you got to get gas to get to work. So you run the Royal Farms or Wow or Exxon or wherever your gas station of choice might be, and you put gas in your car, okay? Right. So then say, oh, you forgot to grab some, paper towels. You need paper towels. So you run to Walmart, you grab some paper towels. Then you say, okay, well, I didn't eat breakfast. So you run to McDonald's and you grab yourself something to eat for breakfast. And then you head on into work. While you're at work, you have a minute downtime. You go look on Instagram. Instagram is always selling something. And there's this one thing on Instagram that you've been looking at for a long time. Let's just say this sea moss. Sea moss is a big thing now. Let's just say it's sea moss and they still running that 50% off deal or whatever, and you've been wanting to try it. So you're sitting there at work, you go ahead and put your debit card information in there and you go ahead and you buy that sea moss, okay? It is lunchtime by now and you forgot to bring your lunch. So what do? You're running right back over somewhere close, or maybe there's a place on site there and you're grabbing you something to eat for lunch, right? So then it's time to go home and you're going to cook, but you forgot to take the chicken out the freezer. So now you got to grab the chicken from Walmart again, or Food Lion on your way home, or Acme on your way home. Even though you already have it in the refrigerator, you want to be able to cook as soon as you get there. So you grab that. So now you have a whole day of impulse spending and buying and all these things where all of that, but the gas could have been eliminated. All of that, but the gas, and maybe if you really needed the paper towels, could have been eliminated, because you probably 9 times out of 10, if you got chicken in the freezer, you got something to eat for breakfast. And, could be cereal, could be eggs, could be something, yogurt, could be something. Usually when we shop, we have well-rounded, we got a list, or we have in our minds, oh yeah, I need something. If it's Pop-Tarts, whatever, there's usually something around for breakfast. So that's one. Instagram is always going to sell us something. Instagram, TikTok made me buy it. Well, Instagram can make you buy it too. And so can Facebook. It all depends on what social media strategy, social media platforms you're on, but they all are advertising vehicles and they are doing their job. Lunch. Packed lunch, leftovers from the night before, most of these things. And then, of course, the chicken, taking it out ahead of time, remembering to take the chicken out of the freezer. So it's the spending where, okay, I know I got it. This is what I got to do. But being able to manage your everyday spending, being able to manage. And so I'm not saying don't ever buy anything off of Instagram. What I'm saying is you create a line item in your budget for Instagram purchases. That way you control how much, and you can do it by month or by pay cycle or however you choose to do it. But you set yourself up for it. Just like you set yourself up for savings. You create a line item, because savings is like breathing. You got to do it. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but create space to be able to do some things. Now, that's not what rob Peter to pay Paul situation. We not robbing Mr. Bill to pay Instagram. That's not what that's not what we're talking about. But I personally am not a cold turkey person. So if you have things that you enjoy and you like, but it really is cutting into your cost and your money and your budget and your spending, don't completely cut it off. I mean, I like to go out to eat. I'm gonna tell the truth, I do. I like to have a meal out every once in a while. Does that mean I'm going to eat my rent and my mortgage? No, but it does mean I'm going to create a line item for eating out. And I'm going to stay within what I say I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna go over that. It just means I can't eat out every single day, but I can eat out at least once a week. I don't completely cut myself off. And so that's what I'm saying. If Instagram is your thing, if TikTok is your thing, if Amazon is your thing, if Shein is your thing, I get it. Just create a line item for it. You can do anything you want as long as you prepare for it. And that's where controlling our spending gets us. We're not always prepared. Ways to cut. So since we're talking about ways to increase our disposable income and making sure we have enough to do those line items, make sure you're looking at every single thing. So look at your insurance. Look at your auto insurance. Look at your homeowner's insurance. We are loyal to a fault, and there's nothing wrong with that. Put your loyal person to work. Don't let them just keep collecting your insurance money every year, and they're not reviewing with you options that could be more cost effective.
Even if they just take off $10, that makes me as a customer feel like I won, and it's $10.
Right. So look at all those things. I got 3 big culprits of what's eating our money when it comes to like controlling spending. And eating out is one, subscriptions is number 2, and technology is number 3. Those are the things when you think about where a lot of it goes for most of us is, well, I ate out. Or, well, I got a Netflix and Hulu and Prime and Peacock and HBO and Stars and Paramount, and you add all those up, Disney Plus and ESPN and all those. By the time you add those up, you almost paying the cable bill.
Right, and they're raising their prices all the time. So even the streaming services.
I grew up on Able. You know what Able is, Dale?
What is Able?
I grew up on Able. Whatever channel we were able to get, that's the one we watched.
That was your cable company is Able.
Able. So let's talk about the second budgeting strategy, which is managing your debt. Okay. So this is when your goal is to pay down your debt that you owe. So a good rule of thumb is use 10% of your monthly income to pay down your debt. So the benefits of that is if you pay down your debt, you can increase your credit score, which we know that your social security number and your credit score are your 2 life numbers. You are known by those 2 numbers, your social and your credit score. Protect them both with your life. and as much as you can, is, take care of that credit score, take care of that social security number. And being able to pay down debt, the more you're able to pay past the minimum, the faster you'll be able to pay that debt off and get that off of your plate. So I talk about a debt snowball. So I like to talk about a snowball when we're talking about managing debt and trying to pay it off. So think about it like this. You're basically rolling up payments. So I use this example a lot, so I've got it kind of rolls off my tongue. So you have 3 credit cards. You have a $500 credit card, a $1,000 credit card, and a $2,000 credit card. So 500, 1 and 2. Your $500 credit card has a $20 minimum payment every month. Your $1,000 credit card has a $30 minimum payment, and your $2,000 card has a $50 minimum payment. Okay, so we got 5, 1 and 2, 20, 30, and 50. Okay. Say you comb through your budget, you get through all of your income, write it down, all of your expenses, write it down, you cut, you do all kinds of creative things, and you say, okay, I can squeeze $20 extra out of my budget to put towards debt. $20. If that's what you got, it's what you got. And then if you found something, that's great. If you found something extra. So you add that $20 to your smallest card. And I say this because I'm a microwave kid. So I need to see results. I grew up, I ain't never grown up. I ain't never not had a microwave. You know what I mean? So I do it this way. There is another way, and I'll tell you that in a second. You take that $20, you add it to the $20 that you're paying to the $500. So now you're paying $40 instead of $20. Pay that off a few months, boom, done. You're done with that $500 card. You're down to 2 credit cards that you still have to pay on. 1 is completely paid off. Now you have an extra $40. What do you do with that extra $40? Spend it? No. What you take then, you take that $40 and then you add it to the $30 that you're paying on that $1,000 card. So now you're paying $70 a month instead of the $30 a month. Pay that couple months. Swoop. Now you're down 2 cards. You've paid down 2 credit cards and you only have the one left. Okay. Now that's an extra $70 that you have. That looks pretty. What are you gonna do with it? Spend it? No. We're gonna add that 70 to the 50 that we're paying on the $2,000 card, making that payment $120. And then that $120 is gonna eat up that $2,000. You are debt free, and it only took an extra $20.
That makes a lot of sense.
And this is all given with the idea that you're not going to be putting anything else on these cards as well. So all of this budgeting, anything dealing with money takes discipline. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. It takes, if managing your debt and getting out of debt is something that you're really serious about doing, then yes, there's a 2-letter word that's going to come into play. Nobody really likes to hear it, but it is necessary in life. And that is no.
Right.
And, it's not forever. It's not forever. It's temporary. But think about this now. Once you've paid off these credit cards, you have $120 every month that you can save or put in an account for those things that you would have put on credit cards. Number 3, budgeting strategy, saving for your future. Okay. So I know we talked about in the second strategy, putting 10% towards your debt. In this strategy, you put 10% of your paycheck towards an emergency savings fund. And you do that. You also contribute to a retirement fund. With automatic contributions every pay. Why is automatic important? Because you can set it and forget it. It is so much easier to not have to make that decision what to do with that dollar when it's in your hand. So we have our emergency savings fund, we have our retirement, and side note, if you do have a 401k and or 403b or whatever the retirement vehicle is from your employer, if they offer a match,
Right.
max out the match. Get that money. Get that for even if you have to work your way up year after year, after bonus, and then you do it at a percent at a time. Do that. That is free. If you put in $120, they're gonna put in $120. You can have all your money and then some if you just put it away for a little bit. So you have your savings. You also have, say you want to purchase a car, say you want to purchase a home, or say, you want to add a deck to your home, or, there's something you want to remodel your kitchen, whatever you choose to do at that point, you can set aside, so plan your budget around making savings the goal. Savings for the future, savings for big purchases. If you want to send your children to college or tech school, or or to give them a little something to get started in life, however you want to do that. But then your budget becomes focused on your savings goals. So basically, these 3 strategies is just what you are going to focus on when it comes to assigning your money. When it comes to telling your money where to go, you're either going to tell it where to go when it comes to controlling your spending, and you're going to create that line item for what you like to do. You're either going to tell it where to go when it comes to managing debt, and then paying down that debt is going to be what you do. Or you're going to tell your money where to go when it comes to saving for your future. And then that is going to be where the energy goes.
The good rule of thumb is to set aside 10% of your monthly income to pay down debt.
10%. And it goes a long way. But it's the structure, it's the discipline, it's the commitment, it's that dedication. It's, do you want what you want, or do you really want what you really want?
Pay yourself 10%.
Pay yourself. 10%. Pay yourself. Please pay yourself. You are priceless, and there is no amount of money that could ever replace you or who you are, but pay yourself.